the hardest bit in the custom grid editor.
Right, here we go. Sorry about that, folks. As you know, this game doesn't work properly, so we're just getting the race sorted now. I don't think we should be readying up though, right?
No.
Someone
should stop them in
yeah.
chat.
I'm just going to be firm with them. I've told them to not ready up. But anyway, right, while I'm waiting for this, I might as well just get the new link for the blimmin' stream, because if anyone wants it, they won't be able to get it. So, yes. This short delay is brought to you by EA Sports and Codemasters. Mainly Codemasters, let's be honest. In fact, it's all Codemasters' fault. I've not even wrote anything on the tweet. I've just put the thing on. That's gonna be that's a cracking tweet from me there. So sorry for all the viewers who are waiting. We will be getting ready to sort because we just need to get the grid sorted, and then once it's sorted, then we can get into it, and hopefully nothing goes wrong after that. But yes. This race is, let's say, the first one we've had in 78 days. And so many different things to talk about. I think we might as well actually just quickly skim through the calendar while we are here, because we obviously have the regular season. That'll be Australia, Bahrain, Abu Dhabi, Azerbaijan, Silverstone, Monaco on the same night, apparently. San Marino, Portugal, and then we have Belgium and Austria. Austria, as usual, being the race to decide who will be in the playoffs, and that will obviously be a fantastic race, it always is. But it's this second part of the season which always excites me, especially with how Jacko's done the calendar this time, because we start off with Canada and Italy, two superb tracks to start with. That decides what the last 8, then, well, it's on those lines. Then we've got Brazil and Mexico, that decides the last 6, then USA and Japan, that decides the last 4, and then of course the chase champion goes up, and that makes your championship 5, which will be hosted in Saudi Arabia by my request, I must say. I said it straight away, we've got to do it there, and that's why we're doing it there, isn't it, Jacko? It's all my fault.
It is. The owner listened to you, is what you're trying to say.
For once, yes.
For once.
5 seasons, and finally I've got my input, so it better be a good race, because it certainly was an entertaining one for the end of year sort of all-star race. Some people weren't happy with it, mind you, but the things that made them unhappy are no longer part of the league, so you'll just be left with a good race after that, so I'm very much looking forward to going back there. But yes, we are now on the grid here in Melbourne. We are getting ready to start the season properly. And all the waiting will be worth it.
Will it?
Yes.
I'm still waiting for players on my screen. I don't know about you.
Yeah, but I'm sure they're all probably putting setups on, aren't they?
Oh, of course, yeah. Sorry, I forgot all about that.
I hope they remember to put their setups on, actually, because that could be quite bad. And also, we've got to keep an eye on everyone's tyres. This, of course, assuming that this isn't the game just not working again. But, yes, we'll be starting in 23 seconds. So if anyone hasn't got a setup on, tough luck for them. And what tyres will they all be starting on? I don't imagine you'll get anyone on the hards, but the way this league is, the 2-stop means that the hard compound tyre is pretty much useless.
Yeah, and of course, a couple of rules to explain to everybody as well now, a couple of new ones, but we'll come to those as and when they happen.
Yeah.
The pit stop one would be an interesting one.
And here we go. There are the drivers. And the formation lap is underway. So, for anyone who's joining new, because it is a new link, new stream, maybe from you just got a notification, you're wondering what's going on, we are here for the start of Season 5 of the JACKOCAR Cup Series. It is the Australian Grand Prix. I believe it's the second time it's been hosted as season opener. And it is red mat on pole from Casper, Pete, Iceman, Kyle, Jamie, J-Luke, our two-time champion, on mediums. He qualified on those. Risky, Kieran and Deck, who is our Joker driver, which means he gets to pit twice under green flag, or gets to pit only once under green flag conditions. He doesn't have to do the mandatory 2-stop. Everyone else on the grid has to, but this is the only time Deck can use it this season. Every driver has one race they nominate to use their Joker on, and Corey was meant to use this tonight, but he's not here, so his chance is gone, meaning Deck is the only Joker we have to worry about. Jordan in his 11th, he's the first of the drivers to have some free choice. Gareth has chosen mediums. Yuri, Estimat, MK Bourne, Jake have all chosen the sauce. Quinn has also chosen mediums, with Ben, Connor and OKK also on sauce. So only 3 on mediums, the rest going for the fastest, softest tyre. And well, at the end of this formation lap, we'll be ready to see how that all performs.
Belatedly getting Season 5 going in true Codemasters fashion, but you know, we're used to it now, aren't we? We're also used to, you know, a big crash results in a game freeze and so on.
Yeah.
Nothing surprises us.
Point is, this might not be the last time we see this crash, but let's hope not. We've been very unlucky when it comes to that. Perhaps that was Codemasters just sort of parting gift to us right at the end of qualifying, and we hopefully don't have to worry about it, because I want to see a race tonight. We're going to have 29 laps, and they're going to be, hopefully, some of the most entertaining laps you ever see in your life, because this is going to be a superb race. I can't wait. Australia always brings the drama. We've had pile-ups here before. We've had first-time winners, obviously. Don't know why I said that. We will hopefully have a new first-time winner tonight. That'd be quite nice, wouldn't it? If we could find that somewhere in the wilderness. Will Deck make his Joker work?
Who knows, but highest driver on the grid without a race win is Kieran in P9. And everybody below him, down to MK Bourne, has not won a race in JACKOCAR, so it's all to play for, Owen. And
here we go. We've got 5 red lights. It's Season 5 of the Cup Series. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing. And Casper's off the line. Well, he's going to be side by side with Red Matt. Will he back off or will he go for it into turn 1? He does stick his nose in, but Red Matt will stay ahead. Elsewhere, I think we've got Jamie and Iceman going side by side, and there's a car wide nearly into the wall. I think that was Kyle, but we go side by side in towards turn 3, round their side. Tries Casper. Surely he's not going to have the room for it, and he will just tuck in behind. Elsewhere, Kieran looks like he's going side by side with a couple of drivers, and I think Deck as well, making his Joker strategy work. He's already made a position. Can Red Matt hold on though? Look at Casper, he's got so much pressure. And where's Pete going to end up? He's only in P6 at the minute. He needs to try and get himself a bit higher up. We're expecting good things from him today, but it is still Red Matt, but it doesn't look comfortable.
No, cracking start, by the way, from Jamie, who went from 6th to 3rd. And I don't know how Iceman ended up on the grass in turn 1 and 2, but Jamie took advantage of that and now runs 3rd on the road. So good start for him, for the Welshman.
Can Casper come back at Red Matt? Not at the moment. I think he might just sort of wait till DRS time. We'll see how it all pans out. How is everyone doing in turn 12? Looks like they've all made it through. Quinn's got front wing damage, that's why he's fallen to the back. Not sure about anyone else. He's having a quick skim through the field, and I don't see it for anyone else. Although Gareth has lost a couple of positions, but that I think is mainly due to his strategy. Yes, Ben Spurs has also got front wing damage, and he might have to try and pit.
Oh!
And well, yeah, that was unfortunately where he was on the track. Hopefully that hasn't caused any major issues. As Jake also pits, this is for strategy, not for a front wing. As you see, Iceman going round the outside here of Jamie for 3rd place, and that was certainly some harsh defending there, but perfectly fair as Jamie holds on to his 3rd position and nearly loses it through turn 5.
And behind those two old rivals, that's come back to life, Jamie and Pete. So good to see those two together on track. I really want to see Pete bring a challenge forward to the front runners this season. It'd just be so good to have him back winning races and on the podium regularly. See what he can do. But staying with the current reigning champion. Yellow flags down the grid.
Is that for Quinn? Might be. No damage, but maybe just a spin or something under the pits. Casper still on the back of Redmat, and Iceman still alongside Jamie. Down the inside into 13. Jamie will try a cutback, but there's no way through. Pete has got back past J-Luke, our two-time champion. And he'll be trying to make it to himself this year. Pete, if he wants it all his own way, that is the right place to be going. He's on his way up. But it's a 2-second gap from Iceman up to the top 2. So they may already have some decent breathing space. Connor's had an off. He's into the wall nearly. I don't know if he's actually hit it, but he's now stranded in the middle of the track. And there's also OKK off. And he's also not got damage. So they'll both be able to continue on. Any safety cars will be straight back into the running, so there's no point with them giving up just yet. So we should hopefully see them stick it out. But with DRS now enabled on this lap, surely Red Mat's a bit of a sitting duck. It feels like Casper's got more than enough pace.
Absolutely, yeah, sure. We expected Casper to run at the front of these races, and of course we are seeing it now. We believe he's a bit of a direct replacement for Arnaud, as Redmat has a moment, Owen. So Casper filling the shoes of Arnaud, being the fastest, on paper at least. But he's got up to the back of Redmat and will have DRS in a second or two. And it does look like Redmat will succumb to this, possibly using a bit of ERS to defend, but Casper will wait. He'll wait for the main straight.
I think there's another accident out there. We have a
Connor
virtual
again.
safety car, and it is for Connor, who's lost his front wing. Now, as far as I'm
Now would be a
aware,
good time to pit.
you can pit now, and this is this would count as a green flag pit stop. And look at that, the dummy being performed by Redmat even tricked me, but he has
He's
pitted
got me as well.
and he will make his first mandatory stop. And so this is absolutely fair. Kieran also in. You can only take a non-mandatory stop, say, under a safety car. You can still pit under a safety car now. No damage requirements or any of that rubbish anymore. As Jamie has sped under VSC, we're already back to green. And that is a major problem for him, because he's stuck behind Pete as well, as Pete jumped him on that restart. So not only
I think
has
he has.
I wonder if he's actually slammed on the brakes to try and get back under the delta. Couldn't quite manage it. And it's cost him not only a drive-through penalty, but the on-track position as well. And Pete's now back up into the top 3, having started third in the race and fallen to 6th. But yes, you can pit under VSC and green flag, and they'll all count as mandatory stops. You can also pit under safety car, but it won't count as mandatory, unless of course you've already committed to the pit lane before the safety cars come out, in which case there's nothing you can do about it, and you can have that pit stop. And that's basically a crash course in these safety car
rules,
stops.
yeah.
A lot less complicated and a lot less controversial than last season, I hope.
And a lot less work for the stewards as well.
Yes.
But very well explained from you there, Owen. Well done. I'm proud of you. You only learnt that about 20 minutes ago, so great effort. But yeah, basically we've removed all the tricky bits that nobody liked, and so basically being able to pit under the safety car is now a thing, but it will not count as a mandatory stop. So you still have to make 2 green flag stops, and green flag does also count as VSC. And if you've already committed to the pit lane when a safety car comes out, and you'll be amazed how often that actually happens. Drivers, on the verge of commitment and not. Happened quite a lot last season. But the restart rule remains in place. Some drivers don't like that, but this is JACKOCAR.
Deck nearly into the wall, but I think someone might be in the wall on the main straight. But we're watching this side-by-side fight first, as we see Deck and Risky going for it in turn 5. Like I say, Deck was trying to get by Risky. He had got through, but then had hit the wall almost on the exit of 3. But he's coming back, isn't he? He's coming back. That's an interesting place to go for it. Almost on the outside, now back to the inside, all over the road, is he? And someone's been in the wall at 12. That might be, a near T-bone there as Quinn tries to recover. And that was so close to being a major incident. Is there something up with his tyres, or is he just sort of overheated them? Whatever's happened, he's been off a couple of times now. I think OKK might have been the other one who caused the yellow flag earlier on in the lap. But yeah, it's very hectic stuff out there right now.
It is. I would tell you about Quinn's tyres, but of course we no longer have TAS to do that, so we've just got to look at them and say, yeah, they're probably done for, and that's why he's pitting right now. I was just going to say, what other rules have we brought in and replaced? I think Quinn's given up looking at that.
Wow.
Gareth's
Gareth.
retired.
That's an accident. This could be safety car. It is safety car. He's done it where Coulthard did it in '97 in a qualifying session. And he's out of the race. Now, who's going to pit? Jamie is going to pit. Remember, this will not count as mandatory. But you're perfectly allowed to do it. And so, this is where we're going to have to just try and keep our mouths here. I might even just note that down, actually. It's probably easier to... Yeah, note these down. Yeah, note these down. Trust me, it's the easiest way of doing this.
Ben is another one.
Yep.
Of course, what it does provide us is with a lot more, almost Hamilton Verstappen style Abu Dhabi, track position versus fresh tyres. We're going to get a lot of that this season with this new rule. So it's not a mandatory pit stop, but it's something that you can use to your advantage. I will explain, actually, if you make a non-mandatory pit stop and it's your joker, it does void the joker. So if you go from 1 stop to then 2 stops, that is not a joker. A joker has to be a pure 1 stop for it to be valid for the 5 bonus playoff points that you get if you were to win the race.
Jamie is deciding to do his stop. So he's going to be off of those mediums, knowing he'll have to do 2 more mandatory stops. This will be softs till the end then, basically. He'll be on softs for 3 stints. He'll be going very aggressive with that then, won't he?
Yeah, that's one to watch there, isn't it?
We know he likes a good aggressive strategy. And we'll see if this pans out okay for him. Who else is coming to the pits? We're still waiting for them all to reach the safety car train. Yuri is into the pits.
It's OKK.
And OKK as well. Like I say, I'm not sure if he caused issues under the lap before safety car. I swear it was on the last corner. And oh, look at this. He's having to stack with Yuri. Luckily, it's 30 seconds back to Ben, but, well, he might end up losing that time. And, it does take forever, doesn't it, to deal with a stacking issue. But he has got himself back out. And I think Will he beat Ben out? No, he won't, actually. He would have done, but he loses another position there. And, well...
The thing is, everybody's on the lead lap, so...
Yeah.
We've got that, at least. It gives a chance for Connor, OKK, Ben to... all recover what were wretched races so far. 7 laps into the new season.
So I count 5 drivers then to have made a stop under the safety car. The 2 Jamies, Ben, Yuri and OKK. So like I said, we've just got to keep our eyes on that for when people make their second stops. It may not actually be their second mandatory stops, and this is where it gets a bit confusing, but for the drivers, they only have to focus on themselves, so it's not confusing for them, at least. All you also need to know is that the top 6, none of them have pitted yet. Deck, of course, doesn't really have to yet, because he is on his joker, and this safety car, I'm sure he's probably not too upset about it right now.
I was just looking at that myself, actually. Deck's actually in a very good place here, providing there's not another safety car, or if there were, depends when it comes out. But I think this could play into his hands later on in the race. But it's Casper leading the way, and then 4 speed boys right behind him. But that has very little relevance these days. Of course, the removal of the team's championship. So no more esports teams, no more teams of 4 like we used to run in the old days of the Cup Series. It is very much the individual drivers and all for themselves. Your friends are where you find them. That's if you want to make any friends and work together. But it is designed to be focused on the 20 drivers and not the teams.
Yes, because we don't want any ideas or suggestions of corruption, which is what we may or may not have received a couple of times last season. So let's not have that happen again. And I'm hoping the safety car might even come in this lap. Connor
should do.
Probably going to be on the back of that train by the time they get to the end of the lap, and so I'm hoping we can get this thing back under well. The game does tend to keep it out for 3 or 4 laps, doesn't it, the safety car?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the 2 retirements we've got. Quinn in the pits and Gareth was an actual accident. That's the 2 promoted drivers have retired so far.
Those lights are still very much on for the safety car. Will we be going for one extra lap, or will it pull a very late?
Be a late one. Be all right here.
Yeah, it has to be a late one at this point. It's not happening though yet. There we go. Just before the DRS detection point.
Right then. Does Casper remember the restart procedure? I'm sure he's being told.
2 rows behind the start-finish line, right?
Yep. 2 grid slots. Or 2 packs of grid slots, I should say. So, technically 4 grid slots, but 2 rows of them.
2 rows, yes.
Yeah.
Well, no one's flooring it yet. No one's trying to trick the system.
That's very early.
And Casper has gone a bit early there, but might let that one slide, I don't know. But here's Jack. Is he able to make anything work into turn 1? No, he's gone way on the inside though. That could compromise. Oh dear, this could be a nasty one, this, and it is. We've got Red Matt, and he was one of the favourites, causing a multi-car smash on the exit of turn 2. And that surely will be a couple of people in the pits at the end of this lap. But most importantly, Red Matt, what has he done? He's cutting all the corners as well, letting people through. This is costing so much time. OKK's coming through. Has he got damage?
Oh.
No, actually. So he avoided it. He may have just got hit on the rear. In fact, I'm not sure anyone else actually picked up damage in that. That would be remarkable.
I've just watched it back. Obviously, Red Matt lost it on his own. 1 car hit him. So I think there's 2 cars out there definitely with damage. But who they are, and you have a better idea than me.
Yeah,
I
know
that.
one of the Ukraine liveried cars was hit, but it might have been on the rear, and it might have just caused the spin, and that wouldn't really have caused much damage visually anyway. Perhaps it could have caused some other stuff that you just can't see, like floor damage.
Yeah.
Or even rear wing damage. Oh no, Deck! Nearly off the road, but just about makes it to the pits. And now we've got a lot of them in. Pete now leads the race, although he does have a free sitting penalty. Is any one of these guys going to be stacking in the pits? So we always sort of worry about that when a lot of people come in, but I don't think any of the top guys are. This is Deck taking the hards to the end of the race. I'm wondering if he should have maybe gone for mediums there, because there'll probably be more safety cars, but I suppose he can still pit on those safety cars.
He would just lose the benefit of the Joker if he wins, so he can pit as much as he wants. He just loses that Joker benefit.
But that'll be heading to the end of the race. I can't see the pace lasting, unfortunately. SD Matt's also into the pits. Jamie, a few of them, yeah, there's a few of them in. Yellow again for NK Bourne this time. He's done it where Nakajima did it in 2009.
Ooh.
And it's a very difficult position to recover from. And luckily he can, because sometimes when you're facing backwards like that for an extended period of time, the game has a tendency to disqualify you. But that's not happened yet. Now Risky, he's under a lot of pressure. He's going to have Jake and Kyle both all over him, and that's not a comfortable position to be. Look at it. He's almost like he's been in the wall, Risky. He looks so slow right now. Has he got something up? He's being done now on the outside of the penultimate corner, but he's certainly fighting it, so maybe he doesn't have damage. He's just
like a Kyle at the inside as well.
I tell you what, that might even become the outside for the last corner, and it is.
What a move.
And that is straight through into second place for Kyle. He'll be chasing after the race leader, and remember, he is the highest driver in the field to have made his first mandatory stop. So Kyle is effectively race leader, isn't he?
He's sort of come from nowhere as well, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Before the safety car, he wasn't really wasn't mentioned at all. And now we've got yellow flags again for SD Mats with a spin.
Lucky to survive a spin there, but he has done. And that'll be then. It'll be watching the fight for the lead. Could end up being Jake and Kyle. So that right on the outside of the final corner move in Australia, of all places. What a race-winning move that could be.
Yeah. And Owen, something we've neglected to mention is the stage points as well.
Yes.
End of lap 7, probably Casper bought that one. We'll have a look back. And the next one is end of lap 14. Yellow flags again.
Pink cart, Yuri.
Pits.
Oh, and SD Mats is retired in the pits, so that's not going to cause any issues. But Yuri does recover, and of course you don't want to be retiring in the pits because you don't get your points for that. I'm wondering if those drivers are forgetting that little factoid, that everyone scores points as long as they finish.
Yeah.
And Pete and I into the pits.
Very different rules to any other league. So, you know, if you go from one league on a Wednesday night to a one-hub racing on a Friday night, you got JACKOCAR in the middle. It's a totally different mindset you got to have.
Tricky situation to be in there with the lapped car sort of in the middle of the road as Casper sets the fastest lap.
Do you remember when Connor was really struggling? He's now up to P3.
Yeah, it's funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah. But that's just how this league works. So Kyle, not quite pulling away from Jake just yet.
My SD Max is now parked. His car. That was the problem. I didn't know if the car would even go if those guys crashed into it where they were coming out of the pits, but he's now out of the way of everyone now, so no real worries. Just on Connor. Do you remember season 1, race 1?
I do.
This is the guy who, well, for all intents and purposes,
a race win.
Looked like he was gonna win and didn't. Could he possibly try for some redemption on that tonight as Casper passes Kieran?
And you know what's an interesting thing now? I mentioned just a few laps ago there's no teams anymore. Top 4 are ART. So who wants it? Because they don't have to abide by team rules. This is JACKOCAR. You can do what you want.
Indeed. And we'll see how that develops, because I think these guys probably all will be betting on there being another safety car. And if you've made your 2 mandatory stops by that point, then you might be considering taking advantage of it.
Absolutely. Just news just in from Gareth. Rear wing and diffuser damage on lap 1.
Oh.
Had no rear end grip for the rest of the race, and then he lost it in the corner, and that's what ended his Cup debut. The 62nd driver to race in this tier.
So he's got a whack up the rear then. Nothing he could really do about that, I'd imagine, because you're not really going to reverse into someone, are you? So that's an unfortunate one. Another one has gone off. Who's that?
It's
Connor. Of course it is. Sorry, Connor, that might be our fault.
Does he have floor damage as well, possibly?
Maybe.
Because he's not this
bad.
bad.
It's not his first mistake, is it, today?
No. It's Pete now gets back past him into the top 6, hunting down his teammate Iceman. Kieran finds himself up in 4th, and Casper back into the top 3. But he is a near 9 seconds away from the lead.
I do wonder if Deck is sitting here regretting his decision to pit for hard, you know, because he's going to have Jordan past him easily as long as he's crashing.
No, he's not! Jordan spun and crashed and wrecked into the wall!
Yeah, that's a safety car. Well, he's not going to have Jordan catching him and passing him, is he? But my point was, he was catching him really quick. And that is going to cause problems for him, because if he wants to win on the Joker, he's going to have to stick with these tyres. And it'll only get worse, that problem for him, unless, of course, they all crash behind him, which could happen. But eventually someone will pass him, and then he won't be on for a good result anymore, you know? But, well, he's 7th right now. Obviously, we have a few pitters, all safety car pit stops, and this is his 2nd safety car pit stop, isn't it, Jamie? As MK Bourne is sped under safety car. I think Ben's also on his 2nd safety car stop.
That is correct. You're taking the words out of my mouth. I'll just let you talk, shall I?
Yeah, it's hard to keep a track of it all, isn't it? Connor is 1st, and Iceman as well had his 1st.
Yeah. So the confusing aspect of this, the net race leader is actually, well, it's Deck, followed by J-Luke.
That is confusing.
It is. All we've done with the new rules is made life harder for us. It's
we actually
have,
the drivers. Yeah. The drivers have it easy, but we actually have to sit here every safety car and just calculate stuff. Because you'll look on the pit stop thing and you'll say, oh, look at that, some people have done as many as 4 stops. But actually, only 2 of those count. Luckily, you only have to do 2 that count, which means Ben is going to the end of the race. Yeah. But
Ben is fine at this point. Kyle and Jake now pit.
Yeah, well, fancy some new tyres, perhaps?
So
It's
that's
just,
now
just more for us to write down, really.
that's 11 pit stops under safety car from 9 different drivers.
Yeah.
And there's only 16 left running.
It is interesting to see their interpretation of all this because I suppose maybe it's always right to be on the better tires. It's a bit like the NASCAR way of
And
last week, for example, in the race, they were all pitting on every yellow because you want to be on the freshest tires because it makes the most sense to be on the freshest tires. If enough people do it, you might as well keep pitting.
And the thing is as well, Owen, with the qualifying system that we use, you only use 1 set of tyres. So you've got 3...
Good point.
So at least 2 extra softs and a set of mediums, or 3 extra softs if your name's Jamie Wright. And then whatever you get for the race is mandatory, which I think is just an extra set each, isn't it? Or something like that. So it just works. Drivers coming up with their own ways of doing things. I think it's given us a lot more strategy to talk about. All right, it's more confusing for us, but we can't call a winner at this point. Yes, Casper's the fastest man out there, but he's far from being the race leader.
Yeah. And the only person to basically, as far as I'm aware, completed his strategy as Connor retires. That's an accident. That is an accident under safety car, trying to catch up to the pack. But I think the only who's the highest in the field to finish the pit stops completely then?
It's Jamie Wright.
Jamie Wright. Well,
No,
no,
it's not.
It's not because he'd already
It's
pitted under
Yori.
the safety car. So it
No, it's
would.
not Yori either.
It would be.
It's Ben. Ben Harrett.
Possibly would be Ben Harrett then.
It
the
is.
4-stopper. And then I think MK Bourne has just made his first safety car stop now. But that doesn't really matter because he's already done his mandatory stop, so this is just him doing it for fun now. So half the field have elected to do safety car pit stops then. Some of them multiple times. It is interesting, isn't it? It's really interesting to see how they're going about this.
Yeah.
What's going to work? What isn't? You know, you're sitting here, Casper, with 16 laps on the board, and you're still going to make a mandatory stop. But you can't do it in the pits, and, you know, with this league, safety cars can be quite common. Just look back to the Saudi Arabia All-Star race. It might be the best example of pit stops being messed up by safety cars. You know, it does happen.
Do you want me to throw out one of the old school JACKOCAR rules out there for you whilst we're under safety car?
Indeed, let's go for it.
Okay, so drivers absolutely must make 2 mandatory pit stops. Okay, very simple. If you do not do that, you are at risk of exclusion and disqualification from the race result.
I tell you what, Jack, do you know what I've just forgot? I've just remembered. We're not even talking about Deck. I mean, I know he's not got the pace perhaps with the tyres, but he's got the position. He's got the track position.
He's there, isn't he?
Yeah, he is still there. I'm just thinking he must be sitting there thinking, I can't believe I'm not on the flipping mediums right now.
And of course, if he were to go in and pit on the mediums, he'd lose the Joker aspect of it. So if he wins this race, it's 10 playoff points.
If there's a win available, though, we might still elect to go for softs on a late safety car if he's in the position to do so.
Thing is, at this point, yeah, you would take a win over finishing, 5th, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But as it stands, you know, he's very much in the box seat to win anyway on a Joker strategy because of the way that the strategy for everyone else has played out. I quite enjoy this new rule.
Yeah. It means someone on hard compound tyres had a chance to win. I called these things useless. Wonder if that'll age well. But he'll be a sitting duck, though. He'll be a sitting duck when it comes to it, surely.
I dare say our new rules package, or our new era of JACKOCAR, is more exciting than what Formula One's going to provide.
And then we get to use the Formula 1 cars for this year, next year. Assuming, of course, that the game actually comes out in a timely manner. We might have to extend it to 7 seasons at this rate.
That is true. News in during the week. JACKOCAR only going to 100 cup races. That's 6 full-time seasons. And then binning it off. But
although if Codemasters...
Never say never.
Although if Codemasters take their time, we might have to give the new cars a try. Or just heavily delay Season 6.
Yeah. And to be honest, if we're going to get races like this, we may as well keep going, hadn't we?
Wow.
What other league provides this?
I know.
Yes, I'm talking to you, Nick Egan.
Yes. That league.
The Purple League. By the way, Connor blaming the sun for his crash.
Really? Which one?
Yeah.
Which one?
Oh, well, the last one, the DNF.
I mean, the sun's not that bad at this particular section of the track.
No. It starts at sunrise. It's actually finding its way up halfway into the sky now.
Bit of a Lewis Hamilton Baku accident, excuse that.
Yeah. Typical Connor. Always moaning.
Now, surely, Jacko, this is the lap that the safety car finally comes in.
It is the lap, you know it is.
And that means we'll get to see Casper try again at this restart routine. He went, you could argue, a tad, little tiny bit early last time. Maybe a couple of grid rows or so. Enough that you could probably say he'd get away with it. But
well, I dare say it was more obvious than the one Arnold did in Portugal last season, so I think it's penalty worthy.
Wow.
But of course, we have a stewards team for that, and we'll worry about it after the race. But it is Casper once again on the restart. He had the right idea, he just did it wrong.
Yes. Well, let's see if he does it right this time. As we get ready to restart for the second time tonight, Casper from Kieran. The fight for P1 on track anyway. Elsewhere throughout the field, we've got vastly different tyres. How quickly is Kyle going to be able to get himself up the field? Will Jake be able to take this time where Kyle's in traffic to get back in position? And will we have a clean restart? That did seem a bit early. And we've got a bit of side-by-side. I've got Jake, and he doesn't quite get through in turn 1, but you can see the idea. Is anyone going to lose it through turn 1? There's a few on the grass, and some going wide, and a front wing gone for our champion, Jamie. He's going to fall down the field, and there's a crash as well for the other Jamie, as we see Kyle up into the podium positions. And is there a problem for Casper? Casper's gone a bit off the road, I think, as well. And Kieran's into the lead of the race. But we've lost Jamie. We've got damage to the other Jamie. And I think there was another penalty elsewhere as well, perhaps, for other drivers. But we have got a new race leader.
It was Jamie into the back of Jamie. That was the penalty you saw. And what you didn't see, Owen, is Jamie Wright, before he lost his wing, getting Deck loose out of turn 2. And Deck just about recovered it on the grass. And then Jamie lost it.
Oh, that's a risky one, but look at what this is causing as they nearly collide on the exit of 12. And look at Kyle going through. We're 3 wide for the lead here in Australia. Who's going to get through? Kyle's got the best tyres, but there'll be no room on the exit of 13, surely. As we see, still side by side, Casper and Kieran. And Kieran being pushed right to the limit of the track. And into the back of Casper goes Kyle, and he's hit Kieran too. And he's going to pit for damage, surely. And that'll let Jake go through. But that was some tremendous racing. It's not over yet, because here comes Kieran. And he's going to go straight back through. Can Jake get involved as well if Casper stays aggressive? He just pulls back in. But that was some superb racing.
Wow, that's brilliant. And you'll see Pete, OKK, Risky, Kyle, Iceman all coming in to complete their pit stops. The mandatory ones at least. Back to the lead. They're still at it, Owen.
I know.
Kieran and Casper side by side. Casper staying so aggressive. This is what you'd expect from him.
This is a risky one. Down the inside again. It's surely going to be a collision if they keep at it like this.
Man.
And here comes Jake. The reason that they're all over... Oh, wow!
What a save
from Casper, but he has lost second place. And I was going to say the reason why they're all over Kieran like this is that he's on 15 lap old tyres. And they might possibly catch Jamie, by the way. I think he will get to the pits, but he's got a rear right puncture. That's why he's taking so long to get back. As Kieran nearly loses it again. And how are we going to get through here again? Here comes Jake. And down the inside again. It's not really as committed as you need to be there. And he's going to be side by side again. And surely this time he does get through. And Kieran gets a bit of a whack as well. And it's back to these two side by side again. With Casper also round the outside. And he's overtaking Kieran on the way to the pit lane. But what a battle they've given us.
Yuri spun at the final turn.
Oh, Yuri. In the wall. That's a tricky place to be. But lucky there's no cars coming through. But Deck will have been very happy to see all that going on, because in fact, you know what, Ben, is into third place now.
Ben
And that
could win
is
this
working
race.
out really nicely for him because he's kept his nose clean while everyone else has been pitting and messing about. And those 3 and 4 drivers
And-
fighting away at the front. As we have another yellow flag, by the way. That is NK Bourne recovering. But all this means that Ben and Deck has stayed close to the front, and that means that they should be able to take some advantage out of this. But Red Matt
he's back. He's back. He was stone dead last at one point, and he's back in contention.
Yeah, and he hasn't been in the pits under safety car, has he? So this is also perfectly legal from him. Although the tyres, will they make it? Well, we have to wait and see.
I'd tell you what, as well, someone to watch out for is Pete Knighton down in P6. Yori has to make another pit stop, as does Jake. So Pete is P4, net P4, and on fresh softs to the end. So he is very much in contention for something here. Will Deck be able to hold on those hard tyres? Can Ben hold off Red Matt, who's ever so slightly closing in gradually? But yeah, I think Pete's the man to watch here.
Let's see. So when will Jake pit? Because he's got to do it at the right time, I suppose. But for now, he's setting fastest laps, so I guess he doesn't really need to worry about it now. As is that Jamie being lapped? That's a shame, isn't it? By OKK, like that's how much time that puncture cost him. Been lapped by the field. Apart from
Doesn't
MK
look
Bourne.
too stable either, does he? He's not very committed in those corners, is Jamie.
Yeah,
as
look at him.
KK has a moment.
Really does not look comfortable for him, does it? No.
Yori makes his final mandatory pit stop.
Surely we're going to see some more fighting soon, because you can see Risky will be looking behind him to see Casper, Iceman, Kieran all over it, and if they're going to be fighting anywhere near as hard as you've seen some other fights as MK Bourne nearly causes a big one there. There's so many cars around him. But yeah, surely Casper fancies it again.
He will.
And even though he's on the harder compounded tyre to Risky, I'm sure he'll be happy enough to make some moves if he fancies it, as Risky nearly stacks it. This has turned out to be quite the classic, this one, and unfortunately for Jamie, he just wants this to end now. But it's not happening for him, as here
Jamie
comes
knows.
Casper. Cut into the inside, his contact and pushed onto the grass. And we're doing this again with a spin now through 13. I think Kieran avoided that. I hope Kieran avoided that. Is he going to hit anyone else?
That was poor from Casper. He reversed back onto the racing line with other cars coming round there.
In other news, Jacko, look at the fight for the lead. We're going to see this again with 3 cars at it.
JACKOCAR is back, everyone. 8 laps to go.
Because of the pit stops. But this is the thing now. Will these guys on softs, it's undoubtedly way better tyres. Will they be able to catch? Because I'm telling you, the one person they're going to want to still be in the lead of this race by the time they catch is Deck. Because he's going to be on tyres so slow that they'll be on this by the end of the race.
Oh, yeah. Anyone can win this race. Anyone down to... How close is OKK? Is he a bit too far away? Yeah, so maybe Kyle upwards. Anyone in the top 9 at the moment can win this.
Risky's
going to go for a spin, and Kieran's going to take advantage of that. Up into P7 he goes. He's still in contention. Iceman's there. Jake's now completed his pit stops as well.
Yeah, so the whole top sort of 8 then have all done their pit stops, and they're all sort of ready to go for this now, because they're all on tyres that are good enough.
This is to the end now. Everyone has completed the pit stop strategy. All 14 of them, so we don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah. Well done, everybody. I'm sure it was easier for them than it was for us, in fairness. But we didn't get too lost of it either, so now we can just sit back and watch.
I'm quite happy to take a bit of confusion every race if we're going to get races like this, though, because it's thrown strategy right up in the air, hasn't it?
I know, and it's created such an incredible scenario right now, where you've got Ben Spurs is all that could be a safety car.
Oh no.
Let's see it. Well, are we going to see a safety car pop up? It's a dangerous position for a car to be, with Risky in the wall on the exit of 1, but I tell you what, it's taken its time. I think that's only going to be a local yellow. It's been cleared. Well, That means I can keep hyping this fight up for the lead then, huh?
I'm
Because
glad. Let's keep it like this.
Deck never won a Cup Series race before. And Ben never won a Cup Series race before. Ben has a best finish of like 14th. He's found himself in an incredibly good position. He's on the best tyres. He's in the best position to take advantage of those tyres. Hasn't got any penalties. But he does have red mat on him.
Ben's best position in JACKOCAR is P5 and Dex is P2.
Yeah, sorry.
Red Matt has won a race before, that's alright. That's why I'm the stat man.
Yes. Although if it says 14th,
Pete's found 3 seconds in a lap.
yeah, he'll be on this, but all 3 of these guys closing in, they all have penalties. They all have 6 seconds for Pete and 3 for Jake, Iceman, and, well, Kyle's not really going to catch it, is he? So it's only sort of, you know, Kieran could still be up there as well. Seriously.
Kieran could win it. Yeah.
It could win it, having done no practice whatsoever and been complaining all day about how bad he is at the game and look at who's going to win this race. But
he left
point
the group
is,
chat last night, you know,
yeah.
it's all been kicking off in his little world, hasn't it?
I know, but it might end up being a fairy tale result.
Iceman gets past Jake. Jake went well wide. Sorry, Owen, to interrupt there. But yeah, Iceman up into the top 5 now.
An Iceman victory would be interesting as well to see. Obviously, wants his statement. He wants to be back in the Championship 5. What a way to start the season that would be, as Kieran also now pulls past. Fantastic stuff for him. Has
for the lead.
Jake surely will have to pit with that, so he's not going to be in the fight for this win anymore. Is Ben Spurs about to go for the lead? He's not using all his ERS here. In fact, he's not using any of it. He's just letting Deck hold this all up, but it is meaning these other guys in the sauce are going to be catching even quicker. And they say Australia hasn't always been the best track for racing. Collision! As we see the top 2 hit, but they're not pitting, and that's good news. But surely we're about to see yet more Australian action. Here we go.
Pete's within 4 seconds now.
Towards turn 1, he's going to try it around the outside. What a brave move this would be. And he doesn't quite make it stick. Here comes Red Matt. Surely has a fantastic advantage as Ben sticks it in the grass. Dex used all his ERS, I think, and this gives Ben a chance again. Round the outside of 3, still no way through, and the fight continues on. This is fantastic news for the guys on sauce. They're now in the shot. As you look back from Red Man, you can see Pete closing in, and he sees a potential to get through all these guys, and Kieran will be silently sitting there thinking, is there a chance I can win this race today? Yes, there is, because of all this going on. Because Deck is struggling, Ben is struggling, Red Matt actually has been saving so much ERS that he might breeze past these two, assuming they don't defend too hard.
The way Deck's been driving, I think he's going to put up a very fair fight. It's not going to be easy. Kieran, by the way, you mentioned he can win this race. He probably doesn't even know he can win this race yet. But he's there. He's in contention.
Look at... Oh, Jake's crashed.
Jake's up.
There's still time for a safety car. We've got a safety car. This could save these guys' races. Because there's only 4...
You have to pit.
Well, do you? Because you'll only get, 2 laps of racing. Red Matt goes for it. Red Matt's pitting. But they're going to fall right to the back. Can they get through this many cars at once? Not all of them are going to pit. They'll all still be on relatively good softs. You're about to see Kieran is in the pits. That is a surprise. Kyle's in too. If they all pit from here, I suppose that's all right. And I suppose they can get away with it. But we're sitting here with 4 to go. With Deck leading the race. Pete's just picked up another penalty for hitting Ben. And that might be damage as well. I'm not sure. It is damage. It is damage. And that moves Iceman up. It moves Red Matt into a fantastic position, actually, doesn't it? But he's got 2 laps to make it work. And that's the difficult bit. Oh, surely it'll only be 2 laps. It won't come in at the end of this lap. It'll have to come in on the next lap. And that'll be just incredible, this. What a race this is going to end up finishing as. It's already been such a good race, and it's going to have a fantastic conclusion. This is the new safety car rules working to the maximum.
Absolute treat, isn't it? I've just been keeping tabs on all the pitters. So Yori pitted again, so did Kyle, Red, Matt, Kieran, Casper and Mike all in the pits for the first time as well in this race for non-mandatory stops. But of course it doesn't even matter because everyone has completed the strategy as we said. Deck's still out there leading on hards, by the way. What a race he's having on his Joker.
What a first win this could be. I mean, he must be thinking that it might be his day now, but it needs so much to go right for him still. Look, he knows that he can let Pete and Iceman go if they end up in there. It's about making sure Red Matt doesn't get involved and Kieran don't get involved. They're the two real danger people. And of course, if Ben ends up causing some sort of win as well, Ben must still think he's the strongest out there to win this still as well. Like,
I think Ben is very much in contention here to win.
Yeah.
There's only 3 seconds of penalties.
yeah, so there's no penalties
One
at
Red
all.
Matt mistake, and he's in there, isn't he?
No
So-
penalty at all for Ben. As Pete
happened?
is pitting,
Oh,
so he
he's pitted,
will.
sorry.
Yeah, he gets to accelerate through the pit lane. Oh, well, he's accelerated too much, actually. He's got a penalty for it. But, well, that helps. That actually helps Red Matt's case, because it means he only has to now get by Iceman. But I suppose Iceman, if Iceman gets through Ben and Deck, and then, as you say, makes it 3 seconds, I mean, it could happen. Any of these top 5 have a realistic shot of winning the race, and we'll find out who's going to do it at the end of the next 2 laps. I mean, poor MK Bourne's a lap down, and he might not even reach the back of the train by the time this thing's about to come in, because I don't think it can stay out anymore after this lap.
No, it'll be good points for MK Bourne regardless. You've had a bad race, but you've got solid points there. I think 6 for finishing 11th. That'll do just to start the season. I'm looking at OKK up in P6. He's had either an awful or a quiet race. But, don't put it past him. He's a 2-time race winner. Why couldn't he... What's stopping him from being a 3-time race winner?
3 people who want to be first-time winners, I'd say.
Very true, yes. So in our field of 11, Owen, we've had Iceman, Red Matt, OKK, Kyle, Casper, Pete and Mike. That's 7 of those 11 have won races before. Casper, by the way, looking at possible post-race penalties with those 2 restarts and that dangerous rejoin. So I don't think he's going to play too much of a factor in the final official results.
And
based on what I know.
I really hope that Deck doesn't get this wrong.
Yeah. 17 lap old hards, so they're still alright, but they're just going to be so slow.
They'll be so slow, but they won't be without any grip. They'll have still enough grip to get round. It's just they won't be doing it very quickly, but they won't be out of grip on these.
Yeah.
I still think part of him's going to be sitting there thinking, I wish I was on what Ben's on right now. But let's see. Do not get this restart wrong, please. What a way to lose a win that would be.
Well, are you sitting down
He's
or
gone.
standing up?
Oh, you've got to be kidding me. He has. Oh, Deck. What have you
That's
done?
an instant penalty there.
And I tell you what, okay, this is causing a bit of chaos in the midfield as well, because there's only 3 wide to turn 1. Red Matt's fighting away, and Kieran's got the corner, and he's hit OKK as well. And look at Ben. Ben wants to go for the lead on track. Round the outside, he goes on Deck. We know Deck's going to surely get a penalty. There's absolutely no way of him not getting one. But look at the holding up he's doing. Look at Iceman. The 2 Bens going for all this here. Any collisions in here, and if any of it involves Red Matt, it's big problems. As we have yellow flags behind, that is, I think, Pete off the road. And look at Red Matt. This is the guy we're going to be sitting on board. He's got to get by Ben. He's got to get by both Bens. It's very difficult to do. How are they going to do it? Iceman would not try it into 11, surely. But he's got to be aware of how much slower, Ben's Spurs will be through this section. Oh, no!
Oh, no!
Oh, he's got a penalty, and that, well, seals it, doesn't it?
Swings back towards Red Matt unless Iceman can come up with something. Or Ben Harrett, what can they do? There's a crash behind.
Oh,
it's
2 cars.
Yuri and Casper in the wall.
Yes. Nasty looking one, that, isn't it? But look at this then. The lead fight has been royally ruined, but if they can still fight, it would at least be some entertainment on the last lap. Ben, well, he's got to get through Deck, and if he does that, perhaps Deck will hold them up. They've hit each other. That's not what you need either. And look at them both sliding out of the corner. Red Matt is just sitting there, knowing surely that Deck's restart was illegal. He's not blind. He'll have seen what happened. He probably knows, as long as he doesn't get too involved, which he is doing, and he needs to not do that because he'll get in trouble. If he does anything to pick a penalty up. Oh, look at him on the grass, Iceman. Throws one down the inside. He knows he has to do something now to make a gap. As we see Kyle off the road, he might lose a position or two for that. The Iceman is through ahead of Ben. Oh, can Deck. Look at him sliding about like crazy. He probably still thinks he can win the race, which is so tragic. But now, what do we celebrate? But we're sitting here watching Iceman. I think Deck knows anyway he could let him through. But Iceman, he needs to get through and then somehow make 3 seconds. And he's not doing that right now. And that is going to mean that Red Matt will be on for the win here. As long as he doesn't have some sort of hideous accident. He's throwing one down the inside. It's so risky.
Red Matt's done it as well.
So risky, but he has got through. And it's going to be Deck crossing line first. It will not be his victory though. It's going to be Red Matt who wins the Australian Grand Prix, and it will likely be a podium with the two Bens, Iceman and Spurs. Then it'll be Kyle, OKK, Kieran, and then after that it would be Deck, because it'd be what, a 30-second penalty, wouldn't it? And then it'd be Keith and NK Bourne. Such a shame, wasn't it, that Deck got the restart procedure completely wrong. I mean, there was no reason to get it that wrong. All he had to do was just remember the rule book and he would have been a Joker winner for the start of the season. He had done it all perfect right up until the restart. What a shame. What a shame.
Gutted for him.
That is, it's heartbreaking, that one. It is a heartbreaking way to lose a race, but I'm sure Red Matt doesn't care. He's won the Australian Grand Prix, there's no doubt about that. Because there's no way you could even say he went, give him a little bit of leeway. He went right at the start of the straight. There was no hiding it.
His Dex was twice as bad as the two that Casper did combined. It was plain and obvious, I'm afraid. Ben picks up driver of the day in game. That will go to a public vote, of course.
And I think it's nice as well to see actually that Red Matt at least got past Ben Spurs, which meant that even though he got the penalty, he would have actually won anyway. So at least that penalty hasn't been a heartbreaking moment to lose a win. He actually still gets second place out of it, which is where he was going to get anyway. So, yeah. That is your race. We've seen it end in slightly heartbreaking circumstances, but not heartbreaking because Matt won. Heartbreaking because we lost the potential for a Joker win on the first race of the season. A perfectly executed strategy, but a bad restart has cost Deck the win. And it means Red Matt wins from Iceman, Ben, the two Bens. Like I say, what a drives from both of them. Superb stuff from Ben Spurs. He wasn't really up there much last season. It's good to start the season with such good form. Kyle, OKK, Kieran. Then we think it'll be Deck in there. Then it'd be Pete in 8th, then NK Bourne 9th, Casper 10th, although didn't finish, but he'll be classified. Yuri, and then Jake probably be the first one not classified. And then it'll be Risky, Jamie, other Jamie, Connor, Jordan, SG Matt, Gareth, and Quinn. What?
Just to correct you, Owen, Casper and Yuri crashed. They did not. They wouldn't be classified in JACKOCAR terms.
No, not
so
that.
MK Bourne. No. Got to finish the race. Well, there you go.
Well, that is the end of the first race. Then we are back, and we are here with a bang. We've had a fantastic race, and very much looking forward to coming back next week for the Bahrain Grand Prix.
So, we're in the mood now, aren't we?
I know.
Let's go again.
We're here. We're back. We're here to stay. Looking forward to it. And it'll be 7 PM next week. Be there. Seriously, it's going to be a fantastic race. And to anyone who's going karting this weekend, by the way, looking forward to seeing. He's looking forward to beating all of you, hopefully. And yeah, see yous there, and see the rest of yous next Thursday. Ta-ta, safe travels.